Well, welcome back to Main Street Living. We are getting a lot of good information here, and just a few months ago, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and it has drastically changed the interaction that we have amongst each other. And now more than ever, it's important for us to be connected with family members, which begs the question: how do we balance like human connection with social distancing? Well, that's why we have a good friend of ours. Welcome to the show, Andrea Ditton, communications specialist. It's going to help us get through this. How are you doing today, Andrea?
Great. How are you, Quincy?
I am doing well. I'm happy to talk to somebody, because it's hard to get out and see people and just engage. And as far as engaging goes, we are going Facebook Live. So we're going to allow some of the viewers or just anyone who's viewing to chime in. If you have a comment, please leave the comment and we'll see it live, and we'll allow Andrea to answer that question. Are you okay with that?
I'm with that. Let's do it.
Cool. Well, here's my first question. Now, you're a senior communication specialist with Cox, like in the public affairs department. So you are pretty well versed in staying in communication with people, but you're a grandmother and you've been communicating for the last 50 weeks plus with your daughter and grandson over 4,000 miles away. Like where are they located?
They're in Naples, Italy. They're
Okay.
stationed there. Her husband is stationed in Naples. So they've been there 3 years now, full time. So lots and lots of practicing doing social distancing way before it was COVID related. So
Absolutely.
mm-hmm. Yeah, she's supposed to be coming back, but that's on hold now. So we're still continuing our practice.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting part because, I know when we had our child, my mother, who lives in Texas and I live in Virginia, she didn't get a chance to physically watch our daughter grow up through those little moments. But you've had a chance over this past year to experience, I think his name is Oliver, right?
His name's Oliver. Yeah. So we've real fortunate. I did get to be there in person right after he was born, like within hours. But after that, had to come back here to the States and leave her, and it's been really hard to be able to be there for her as a mom, because you want to be able to provide all that advice, babysitting, all the support you'd want to, and you have to do it all from far away. So lots of connection with we message on WhatsApp. We actually use Facebook a lot to send messages. We also do FaceTime calls almost every day. Not every single day. It depends really on his nap schedule and these 6 hours difference. But we do try to get together every day. And I've gotten to watch when he first started teetering out, and now he's standing and
yeah, look at him.
and reading books. So we've been able to look at like I can pull up a book and I'll have the text here.
Uh-huh.
I can read a book that she has there. Like we've done Goodnight Moon here. Now she's doing little shark things. He really likes that book. So I get to watch how he engages. And and he's even like, "Are you watching, Grandma?" He's like, he looks over to make sure I'm still looking. And he just has the brightest smile when he answers. He knows the FaceTime ring now. He's known it for months. He's known what sound means, and he is ready smiling. So really gotten to do all kinds of neat things, and watching him take his first bite of food or books if he's hungry for that. So we've really gotten to engage a lot virtually, and really got to know him that way.
That is interesting that you talk about, having the ability to engage. And we just had a viewer post a comment about how cute your grandson is. So people are seeing how cute this little young man is all the way in Italy. But here's something that you actually say, and I think that's very cool. Social distancing doesn't have to mean social isolation. So what type of tips do you have that can, kind of let folks know who aren't used or who's still transitioning into this new life?
Right. So I think that people have had to learn to adapt to different situations that they would be there for a person or a friend, but they can't be there in the same way. And I have a great example. We had a coworker who unfortunately had her father pass away very unexpectedly. And
Oh, wow.
we would normally have, brought her food and brought her, flowers and hung out with her and just been there with her, but we couldn't do that. So what we did instead is we sent her and her daughter DoorDash lunch, and we set up a Microsoft Teams call to have lunch with her, and just still be there for her distance-wise, and as a group of coworker friends that we would have normally done. So we couldn't bring her food, but we were able to have food delivered to her and be there in the same way that we would have tried to have been in person.
Oh,
so,
that's nice.
Yeah, we really had to pivot and figure out, okay, how are we going to rally for her?
Well, you know, and that's a great point. And we actually have a question from someone that's tuning in. I think a question from Karen, if we can show that. It says, are you tech savvy, or is all of this pretty easy for the average Joe? So,
well, it depends who you ask. If you ask my kids, I am not tech savvy. I do my best. They laugh at me with trying to learn stuff, and I'll ask them questions. But why isn't this working on my phone? So they laugh at me. But I have some knowledge, but I would not consider myself an expert at all. It's been a lot of learning on the go and trying to figure out how to make these things work for us in this environment now.
You know, it's interesting because my mother, like, I would try to get her to do, you know, like FaceTime and all that type of stuff. So, you know, as long as you just get a little bit of help from the younger group of people that can help you do it, then you'll get past all the little stuff. Like, all up on the, do you see me?
Am I on? Can you see me?
Right. It's like, back up, Mom, and I can see a lot more than your nose, okay? Right. You know, another thing that you say is get as much FaceTime as possible. And you actually had like a tip on here, and it was about seeing your loved ones face to face makes the interactions even more personal. Right. What do you find through that?
I don't even make phone calls anymore. So all of my calls almost are FaceTime. Like any phone call that I would have normally made, I just make FaceTime now. It just enables us to that's our normal way. We would go and have lunch weekly. So instead of that, we just have the chats on FaceTime. And it's just more of doing everything that you would normally do.
Okay.
Virtually, like opening gifts. If I do that with Rowan all the time. If I send her gifts or for Oliver, then we wait till I'm on FaceTime with her, and I get to watch her open them just like I would have had I been there in person. So every little thing that we would do, you know, it's just lots of pictures of everything.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, it's great. And we got another question from Karen. Karen is lighting us up today. Let's see if we can put it up here. It says, oh yeah, she's from Cooking from the Heart, another one of our shows here on YourView. It is tricky with the time difference, or is it tricky with the time difference?
Well, it is, but it also has some benefits. So when Oliver was younger, we were able to, in the middle of the night when he had his, was in the middle of the night for feedings. It's normal evening here, so I could be here for her then. And we created little rules that if you want to message me on, if it's an emergency, message me on WhatsApp, and I have the sound on there. But if you just want to, if something's happening in your day and you want to share it, but not wake me up, message me on Facebook. So we kind of created rules that we know, like, this time difference is going to be weird. I may need you, like, stat. Like, she has reached out in the middle of the night when he's been sick, and I know that she knows where to message me so that I'm going to hear it, versus just, hey, I want to let you know, look at this funny meme I found. So things like
awesome.
That.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and you know, the other part that people are adjusting to is not being able to go into the gym. So you also have a thing about working out together virtually. Any tips for the viewers with that?
I am actually working out more than ever. I use OpenFit, and what's really neat about that is I have live classes. Yesterday I did a 5K run on the boardwalk with, there was at least 20 people in there, and we were running together, but all over the country. We had people from California, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, and we were running at the same time, and the trainer was talking to us. We were able to chat in, we could send pictures of where we were, so we were still engaging like we were together, and we were racing. I was out, trying to beat the girl in front of me. So we had those virtual competition. And then I beat her. I did beat her, by the way.
Well, you can still be competitive virtually. And, Andrea, we certainly do appreciate everything that you do, at Cox via communicating and keeping everyone communicating. But I know it's tough during these times being away from your family. So we appreciate these tips that you have shared with us. And hopefully if some of our viewers can take that and use that. So thank you very much for being a part of the show today.
Thanks so much, Quincy.
Absolutely. And when we come back, When we come back, we are going to spend a day in the life of a New York City mother and teacher. You guys got to stay with us and see that.